You didn't imagine it. That sensation, that soft, almost imperceptible flutter in your chest at night, that quiet tug pulling you somewhere you couldn't quite name, that fleeting moment when you looked up from your life, from your distractions, and felt, without evidence or reason, that someone somewhere was thinking of you. And not casually, not momentarily, but with depth, with longing, with divine intensity. You weren't making that up, because something, someone, was indeed reaching for you in the spirit. This message isn't a coincidence. It's not another video or story meant to entertain. It is a summons, a spiritual signal sent from heaven through the quiet chambers of your heart. And it comes with a holy urgency, because someone couldn't hold back anymore. There is a soul connected to yours in a way even time cannot sever, who has been wrestling with emotions too vast for words. They didn't know what to do with this feeling, with the ache, with the magnetic pull toward you. They questioned it, doubted it, tried to silence it, but it grew louder. So they did something they've never done before, not with this level of desperation. They prayed, not a routine prayer, not a wish thrown up into the dark. They cried out with tears, with trembling, with a heart laid bare before the divine, saying, God, what is this? Who are they to me? Why can't I forget them? And heaven responded, loudly, clearly, lovingly. A divine interruption at the moment they sought answers. Something shifted in the spiritual atmosphere. The angels gathered. The atmosphere changed. This wasn't just a request. They had activated a divine conversation that had already been written before they were born. Because this connection between you two, it's not ordinary. It never was. It's part of something bigger. A holy design. A union written in the blueprint of destiny. Heaven didn't just answer their cry. Heaven revealed a vision, and in that vision they saw you, not as you are in the physical, but as your spirit truly is. Your soul shone with golden light, a radiant, healing energy wrapped around you. They saw peace in your presence. They felt clarity in your gaze. They felt whole just at the thought of you. The angels whispered a truth into their spirit that left them breathless. This person you're feeling drawn to is not a distraction. They are a divine assignment, a destiny partner, a sacred soul meant to walk this path with you. And in that moment, everything inside them shifted. When heaven confirms what the heart always knew, it wasn't infatuation. It wasn't lust. It wasn't fantasy. It was recognition. Their spirit recognized yours. Have you ever felt that too? That quiet sense that someone out there already knows you? That there's a missing piece of your soul you haven't met in the flesh, but you've known since eternity that's them. And they're waking up. They saw visions, dreams they couldn't explain, sudden memories they never lived, scenarios in their mind where you were there beside them, laughing, weeping, loving. They started noticing signs, repeated numbers, familiar scents, lyrics in songs that sound like confessions they never said out loud. And when they asked heaven, what is this? Heaven replied, you are remembering. You are awakening. This person is not random. They are part of your calling. Now, they can't run from it. And neither can you, because the energy between your souls is no longer silent. It's calling, roaring, whispering, pleading for reunion. You are more than, let me pause here and speak to you directly. You're not ordinary. You've never been. That aching in your chest, that longing, that unexplainable hope mingled with sadness, it's because your soul knows something your mind hasn't yet caught up with. You're the answer to someone's prayer. You are the light someone saw in a vision, the comfort someone felt in their darkest night. You are the balm to their wounds, even if you haven't touched them yet. You are not forgotten. You're not waiting in vain. The angels have whispered your name, and someone heard it. They've seen your face in dreams, heard your voice in the silence, felt your energy without explanation. And now, the pull is too strong to ignore. They're coming, not just because they want you, but because heaven told them they need you. What they were told about you, the guidance they received, was not vague. It was specific, piercing, transformative. The divine revealed to them that you are a rare soul of intense light, that your very presence awakens what is asleep in others, that your laughter heals, that your pain holds power, that your silence speaks wisdom, that your embrace realigns destinies. The angels told them, this person is not just someone you will love. They are someone you will become through. With them, you will remember who you are. And so the fear that once held them back, it's fading. The confusion that clouded their path, it's lifting. They've been shown that you carry something eternal. Not just beauty, not just kindness, but purpose. They've been shown that beside you, life becomes meaningful, lighter, brighter, real. Why you're feeling what you're feeling if lately your emotions have been heightened. If you felt moments of joy and sadness at once, if you've been inexplicably nostalgic, homesick for something you can't name, it's because their soul has begun reaching out to yours. The reunion has already begun in the spiritual realm. Even if they haven't messaged, even if they haven't said anything yet, even if they're not physically near, their heart has already turned in your direction, and your soul felt it. Because when two souls are destined, they don't need words to speak. They just need willingness to listen. And now, beloved, heaven is asking you to prepare, to make room. Because what's coming is not just romance, not just closure, but the reawakening of something sacred, something older than memory, more powerful than pain, stronger than distance. Heaven is rearranging the path. The universe is not idle. Even now, alignments are being orchestrated, delays are being cleared, detours are being redirected, angels are assigned, conversations are being stirred, dreams are being planted. So don't be surprised if strange things start happening. Dreams that feel too real, sudden emotions when you hear a certain name, a longing so strong it leaves you breathless. This is not anxiety. This is the quickening of a soul reunion, and it is holy. The love that is returning to you has been sifted, purified, tested. It's no longer coming from confusion, but from revelation. A whisper from the divine, let these final words of part one settle deep into your spirit. You are not forgotten. You are not unseen. You are not alone. You are made to be loved in a way that echoes heaven. And someone who once doubted is now on their knees, grateful they asked the question, because the answer was you. Their journey has begun, and yours is about to change forever. Declare this now in your spirit. I am ready to receive the love heaven has prepared for me. Because what's ahead is not a coincidence. It's prophetic, it's personal, and it's coming. You may think nothing has happened yet, that life looks the same, that the messages haven't come, that the silence between you and the person you've felt in your spirit remains unbroken. But make no mistake, everything has already begun shifting. And while the surface may seem still, the spirit realm is alive with motion. Because someone you don't hear from is hearing from heaven. And the answers they're receiving are all about you. The moment heaven spoke, they asked with trembling. They whispered your name in prayer. They weren't even sure they deserved to ask, but the ache inside of them demanded clarity. They came before God not with confidence, but with surrender. And God answered, not with a thunderclap, not with fire or clouds, but with a wave of knowing so undeniable, so powerful, that it broke something open inside them. Heaven showed them a vision of you. You were surrounded in golden light, radiant, whole, walking barefoot in a field of peace, unaware that someone was watching from the shadows of their own doubts. You didn't have to say a word. Your spirit spoke. And what it said was this: I was made for love, and I was made for you. The battle they fought in silence, but even when heaven confirms, the heart often panics. They didn't rush into action, not at first. Because to accept that you were their divine counterpart meant confronting every fear they had carried their whole life. They wrestled with their worth, with guilt, with the weight of their past. Am I ready for this kind of love? They wondered. Do I even deserve someone like that? For nights, they couldn't sleep. They wept. They walked through old memories like haunted rooms, searching for the courage to believe that maybe, just maybe, God had preserved something holy for them, and that it wore your face. And still, through it all, you kept appearing, in dreams, in the lines of songs, in the echo of a name, in the hush of their heart when the world got quiet. You were never just a thought. You were a prophecy. Heaven didn't just confirm their feelings. It revealed a calling. The angels spoke clearly. This love is not for pleasure. It's for purpose. Your union was never meant to be ordinary. You were never meant to be just another chapter in someone's story. You are the turning point, the divine collision, the hidden fulfillment of prayers that were whispered generations ago. What this person now sees when they think of you is not just romance. It is revelation. They've realized. Their soul recognized yours before they had the language to explain it. You were the one they felt while dancing with the wrong people. You were the peace they tried to recreate with distractions. You were the voice of calm in their storm, long before they ever heard you speak. And now, they know the truth. You were never missing. You were being prepared. Why it took so long, I know what you're wondering. If this is true, why didn't they come sooner? Why didn't they see your light before the pain? Why did the silence stretch for so long? The answer, beloved, is this. They weren't ready for the weight of your love. Because the kind of love you carry isn't light. It transforms. It confronts. It awakens parts of a person they spent years trying to bury. You were too honest for their mask, too deep for their shallow intentions, too sacred for their unhealed wounds. They didn't ignore you because they didn't care. They withdrew because your light exposed everything in them they didn't want to deal with. And yet, your light also called them higher. So God took them through the wilderness, through the breaking, through the pruning. Because no one arrives at a holy union unchanged. And now, they're different. Not perfect, but postured. Not flawless, but finally ready. And what they once ran from is now the very thing they're running toward. The vision that wouldn't let them go, they try to forget. They try to convince themselves it was just emotion, just attraction, just an illusion created by loneliness. But they couldn't escape the vision. It haunted them in the holiest way. They saw you standing at a door. Your hand was outstretched. You weren't knocking. You were inviting. But behind you wasn't just a home. It was destiny. And to walk through that door meant they had to leave behind everything that no longer served their future. Their fear, their control, their pride. And one night they said yes. Not to you, not yet, but to God, to the journey, to the healing, to the whisper that kept growing louder. They are your person. You are their answer. And this is your time. How you'll know the shift has started, you may not have heard from them. But you felt something, haven't you? That strange stillness before a breakthrough. That emotional swirl that seems to rise out of nowhere. That pressure to release old baggage, even when nothing triggered it. It's because their obedience to heaven is creating ripples in your reality. You are spiritually tethered, connected by purpose, bound by design. So when one soul moves in alignment, the other begins to stir. If you've been feeling urges to cleanse your space, forgive your past, or prepare for something you can't name, it's them. Their awakening is waking you up too. And this is just the beginning. What heaven is preparing you for, you're not about to fall into another relationship. You're about to step into a covenant. This is bigger than dating, bigger than butterflies, bigger than chemistry. This is divine orchestration. This is prophetic fulfillment. This is two people who've walked through fire, finding in each other the healing rain. And it will not feel like chaos. It will feel like home. You'll know it not because it excites your ego, but because it calms your nervous system. You'll know it not because it checks every box, but because it speaks your soul's language in silence. You'll know it because you'll stop striving. Because love, when it's holy, doesn't push or pull. It flows. And this person? They're almost ready to flow toward you. Their message to you, even if they haven't sent it yet, they may not have said these words yet. But if their heart could reach you tonight, if their soul could whisper without fear, here's what it would say. I'm sorry it took me so long to see you clearly. I was scared of something I couldn't name. But now I know you weren't too much. You were the exact measure of everything I was missing. You were never a fantasy. You were prophecy. And I'm on my way. What you must do now, it's tempting to wait passively, to sit in silence and wonder when they'll come, how it will happen, what they'll say. But heaven doesn't want you stuck in suspense. Heaven wants you to prepare, clear the space, emotionally, spiritually, even physically. Make room for love. Make peace with your past. Release what wounded you, but don't resent it, because it shaped you for this moment. And above all, do not shrink your light. Their delay was never a reflection of your worth. It was proof that your love is rare, that it needed time, that it required courage to approach. But now, the courage is rising. And soon, so will they. A final whisper from heaven, beloved soul. Listen closely. The silence was never rejection. It was preparation. The distance was never punishment. It was preservation. And the longing? That was love, pulling you toward a promise. Someone is waking up with your name written in their prayers. Someone who once doubted is now burning with clarity. And the love that's on its way, it won't ask you to prove your worth. It will remind you of it. Declare this now in your heart. I receive the love that was written for me before I was born, because that love is coming. It's already begun, and you are ready. You don't have to chase what's already yours, and you don't have to beg for a love that was written into your story before your first breath, because this isn't about wishful thinking anymore. It's not a fantasy, not a coincidence, not a passing hope. This is divine design. Something is happening that your eyes may not see, but your soul can feel it. You've been sensing it, haven't you? That shift in the atmosphere, the stirring in your chest, that pressure in the spiritual realm, like something is waking up. Let me tell you what it is. The connection is being restored. The link between your soul and theirs was never truly broken. It was paused, put into divine protection while you both went through what you needed to become who you were meant to be. And now, heaven has declared its time. They tried to move on, but couldn't. Let's be honest. They tried. They tried to live without you. They tried to silence the voice of your memory, to forget the feeling of your energy. They tried to convince themselves that it was just attraction, a moment, a chapter. But heaven wouldn't let them. Every time they tried to move forward with someone else, something felt wrong. Like the pieces didn't fit. Like the joy was too quiet, and the peace was too artificial. Because no one could mirror what they saw in your eyes. No one could calm their chaos like your presence did, even from afar. No one could replace the spirit-to-spirit connection that lit up the part of them they never knew was asleep until they met you. They dated. They distracted. They denied. But nothing healed what your absence carved into their heart. Because what they were trying to escape was not pain. It was truth. And truth doesn't go away just because it's inconvenient. Divine interruptions and holy hauntings, so heaven kept speaking. In subtle signs, in dreams, in passing strangers who said things that felt like they came straight from your lips. Your name was written in the rhythm of their thoughts. Your laugh echoed in rooms you never stepped into. Your light hovered in the shadows of their silence. Every time they felt ready to let go, the spirit whispered louder, "You haven't finished what I started." And then the dreams began again. This time, clearer. In one, they saw you walking away, but not out of anger. It was peace, power, purpose. You weren't chasing them. You weren't waiting. You were becoming. And in the dream, they realized, if they didn't move soon, they might lose not just a person, but a calling. Because you weren't sent to them just for comfort. You were sent to awaken them. And now, the waking has begun. The energy between you two is still alive. You felt it too, haven't you? The sudden tears without explanation. The tightness in your chest when you remember them, even if you haven't spoken in years. The way your soul starts whispering their name in your spirit during worship, during dreams, during quiet moments when you weren't even thinking about them. That's not coincidence. That's spiritual communication. When two souls are truly connected, they never go completely silent. They speak in energy, in emotion, in moments. What's happening now is that the invisible thread between you two is being reactivated. Heaven is tightening what time tried to loosen. Because when love is real, when it's God ordained, no distance, delay, or distraction can delete it. Why it had to break before it could bloom? Some of you are still asking, why did they leave? Why did they push me away? If it was real, why did it hurt so much? The answer is hard, but holy, because they weren't ready to love you without destroying you. They still had sharp edges, trauma, fear, entitlement, emotional blindness. They still had places where they would have mishandled your heart. Not because they were evil, but because they were unhealed. So God stepped in. He separated what he intended to bring together later. Because God doesn't bless timing that leads to damage. He blesses readiness. And now, after all the wilderness, the wrestling, the wondering, they're starting to see, starting to believe, starting to remember the truth that never really left. They are my person, and I'm not whole without them. What they've realized about you, they've spent so long looking for peace, only to realize that peace had your name on it. They've searched for clarity, only to understand that the confusion left the moment they stopped resisting your presence in their spirit. They used to be intimidated by your depth. Now they're drawn to it. They used to run from your strength. Now they're inspired by it. They used to fear being vulnerable around you. Now they crave the safety that only your soul seemed to provide. They know now you weren't a chapter. You were the turning point. What you must know about you, let me speak directly to you again. Do you know what it means when heaven gives someone a vision of you? It means you carry something eternal. It means you're not just loved, you're revealed. Your light is not ordinary. Your love is not common. Your spirit carries a fragrance that lingers, even in absence. That's why they couldn't forget you. That's why, even in denial, they couldn't escape the echo of your name in their chest. That's why they're coming back not with the same language, but with a transformed heart. Because you changed them, without even trying. You woke up something holy inside them. You don't need to prove anything. You never had to perform to be chosen. You never had to diminish to be loved. You never had to chase to be kept. If they couldn't see your value before, it's because their vision wasn't healed yet. But now, the veil is lifting, and all the things you said, all the things you prayed, all the tears you cried, they're coming back to them like holy echoes. And suddenly, it all makes sense. Suddenly, they realize, I didn't just lose a person. I walked away from destiny. And now, their soul is determined not to make that mistake again. What's coming next, you may not know how it will happen. But the moment is coming. That divine collision. That unexpected call. That text that feels like resurrection. That moment when your spirit leaps before you even read their name. It won't come with confusion. It will come with confirmation. And this time, it won't feel like a battle. It will feel like peace. Because what's about to begin again isn't what ended. It's what was always meant to be, but now, in the right season. The invitation to prepare, you don't need to wait like a prisoner. You prepare like a prophet. Clean the altar of your heart. Lay down bitterness. Release the need for explanation. Because God isn't bringing back what hurt you. He's resurrecting what healed you, but this time with power. And a version of them who once ran from your love, that version is gone. What's returning is someone who has been to the wilderness, someone who has fought their demons, someone who chose obedience. And now they're choosing you, their soul's prayer. Even if they never said it out loud, if their soul could speak out loud right now, this is what it would whisper into your heart. Forgive me for not seeing it sooner, for confusing fear with wisdom, for thinking I needed more time when what I needed was more trust. I see now that love like yours doesn't come twice. And I'm ready, not just to love you, but to become the person worthy of standing beside you. Let this be your declaration. Let the silence that once hurt you become the stage for God's redemption. Let the waiting room become the womb of your next miracle. Let your tears become seeds, and expect a harvest. Because someone's soul has returned home, and they're coming for you, not to take but to build, not to impress but to serve, not to love in words but in covenant. Say this out loud if it resonates in your spirit. The connection heaven preserved is being restored. I am ready to receive it in full, because it's closer than you think. The healing has happened. The silence is breaking, and love is on its way. There's a moment right before the miracle breaks through. A stillness, a sacred hush in the atmosphere. Like the earth knows heaven is about to release something weighty. Like your spirit suddenly gets quiet, not from fear, but from reverence. You're standing in that moment now. You may not see the shift with your eyes yet, but your soul feels it. Your body senses it. Your dreams won't stop whispering about it. The silence is about to break, and not just with words, but with presence. with action, with alignment. The one your soul has cried for is about to show up, not as they once were, but as who they were always meant to be. The breaking point that became their turning point, they hit a moment they couldn't ignore. A point of no return. Maybe it was a dream, a song, a moment alone where the mask cracked and the truth rushed in like a flood. Maybe they were about to say yes to something false and felt heaven scream, stop. Whatever it was, it wrecked them in the holiest way. They could no longer pretend your love wasn't real. They could no longer deny that losing you had created a void no one else could fill. They sat in that silence and heard what they had been running from. You were the answer. You were the healing. You were the one sent to mirror their soul. And for the first time, they didn't argue. They wept, not out of regret, but out of recognition. They remembered you, not just your face, not just your name. They remembered what their spirit felt like in your presence. And it broke them open in a way that could never be reversed. When the soul knows, the heart follows for so long. They lived in their head. Logic, doubt, defense mechanisms, fear disguised as wisdom. But now, their soul is leading. And the soul doesn't need permission from the past. It doesn't ask, will this make sense to the world? It only asks, is this true? And everything in their spirit is screaming, yes. They are your truth. The delays have fallen away. The pride is melting. The fear is dissolving. And all that remains is the longing to return. To you, to the space your love carved for them, to the future that still has your name etched into its doors. The approach will be different this time. They're not coming back to stir confusion. They're not returning with vague words or emotional games. This time, it will feel like peace. Because the version of them that's showing up, they've been in the fire. They've been undone. They've been reshaped. And now, they come bearing clarity, honor, intentionality. It won't be about the perfect message or dramatic apology. It will be about consistency, effort, humility. Because when love is real and finally awakened, it doesn't need to perform. It simply shows up. What they want you to know, even before they speak, before the message arrives, before the knock on your door, before the eye contact that says everything their words never could. This is what their soul is trying to send you now. You didn't imagine it. I did feel you. I did love you, but I didn't know how to hold you. I was scared of the way you saw me, because when you looked at me, I saw who I was supposed to become. And that terrified me, but I'm not afraid anymore. I'm walking toward you now, not because I figured everything out, but because I finally surrendered. And when I did, God showed me what my heart always knew. It was always you. Don't miss the moment. Because of old pain, here's the truth. When they reach out, your heart might hesitate. The mind will replay the wounds, the silence, the absence, the tears you cried in the dark. You'll be tempted to put your armor back on. But hear me. This is not the past coming back to hurt you. This is the promise returning to heal you. So, take a breath. Look not just with your eyes, but with your discernment. Listen not just to their words, but to the shift in their spirit. Because when God restores, He doesn't rewind. He redeems. And what's coming is not a redo of what failed. It's a revelation of what was always meant to thrive, just in its proper season. How you'll know it's them, you won't have to guess. You won't need a sign. Because your soul will know. You'll feel peace, even in the unknown. You'll feel safe, even if it takes time to rebuild trust. And most of all, you'll feel seen. Because this time, they won't just admire you, they'll honor you. They'll speak to your future, not your flaws. They'll walk with you, not around you. And instead of making you smaller to fit their comfort, they'll grow to match your purpose. The new love story heaven is writing. This isn't a continuation. It's not part 2 of a tragic story. It's a completely new chapter, written by God, signed by grace, sealed by surrender. It will be love that is intentional, that builds, that holds space for your calling and doesn't compete with it, that looks at your scars and says, I see you, and I still choose you. This love won't hide you. It will reveal you. Because when someone is heaven sent, they don't shrink your light. They amplify it. If you're still healing, that's okay. You don't have to be perfect when they return. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't even have to say yes right away. You just have to be open. Open to discern. Open to trust what you feel. Open to believe that God can use even broken timelines to deliver perfect promises. And open to love again, not with naivety, but with wisdom wrapped in grace. Because the person showing up this time, they've prayed for strength to love you right. And they're coming not to finish their story, but to start yours. Together. Their return will be a prophetic sign, make no mistake. This isn't just about a relationship. It's about confirmation. That you heard right. That you weren't crazy. That all those nights you cried were seeds, and now the harvest is blooming. Their return will mark more than love. It will mark a season change, a spiritual breakthrough, a declaration that your wilderness is ending. Because the God who whispered, wait, is now shouting, move. And what's been in motion behind the scenes is finally reaching your door. What to do when they show up, breathe. Don't rush. Don't perform. Don't punish. Stay soft. Stay grounded. Stay surrendered. Let your discernment guide you, not your triggers. Let your healing speak louder than your fear. And ask the questions you need. But above all, let love be the language. Because the version of them that's arriving, they've been walking through fire just to stand before you whole. And if your spirit agrees, if your peace confirms it, then let grace make space for what God is restoring. A message for the one who waited, to the one who stayed soft through the silence. To the one who didn't harden their heart even when they wanted to give up. To the one who kept hoping even when it hurt. This is your moment. You are not foolish. You are faithful. And heaven honors those who wait not for people, but for the promise. And the promise is knocking. Get ready to open the door. Declare this now. Let your voice align with the timing of heaven. Say this out loud, with faith. I am ready for the love that was delayed, not denied. I am prepared to receive what is returning healed. The silence has served its purpose. Now let love speak, because it will. And when it does, it won't just sound like romance. It will sound like destiny.